You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
The mojo is back for UNLV football. Straight ahead in the Reb Zone, we break down the Rebels' first win against Fresno State in 30 years. Plus, the running Rebels are off and running for the season. A look inside the first practices of the year. It's time to strike up the band. We're singing the praises of a win in the Reb Zone right now. UNLV goes my way.
This is the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by Born and Raised, the official home of the Rebels on the road, and by Cox Communications.
Good evening and welcome inside the Reb Zone, where we are celebrating a big Rebel win. Kevin Bollier alongside UNLV head football coach Bobby Hauck. And coach, that had to feel good.
Yeah, to say the least. You know, and obviously just for you and I here on Sunday, it's a lot more fun and it's not gloom and doom and all that, but it was really fun for our team. It was fun to watch them celebrate. You know, we hadn't beat Fresno State in 30 years. I think 84 was the last time. So a lot of good things. And, you know, I like hearing the mojo's back. And maybe it is a little bit. Maybe that'll be what it takes to get us kick-started and get us playing well again.
Well, let's have some fun here over the next 30 minutes. We're going to start looking at this one. The Rebels, as we were talking about, hadn't beaten Fresno since 1984 when Randall Cunningham was the quarterback. We begin with the first half, where UNLV played their best 30 minutes of football all season.
All we got is each other. All we got. Win on me, win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Homecoming at Sam Boyd Stadium, and the Rebels were fired up to pull a 180 and get things turned around. UNLV had the ball first and once again marched on a scoring drive to begin a game. On 3rd and 8 at their own 16, Blake Decker hits Anthony Williams for a 13-yard gain and a first down. Later in the drive, Keith Whiteley goes up the middle, finds some daylight, and races 38 yards to the Bulldog 22-yard line. Jonathan Leva would boot a 33-yard field goal, and the Rebels jumped out to a 3-0 lead, just 5:11 into the game. After both teams exchanged punts, the Rebels had the ball to start a drive on their own 9. Decker rattled off a couple of completions, but on 1st and 10 at their own 25, Decker goes deep downfield, and it's picked off by Che Washington, and the Bulldogs had it at their own 32. The Rebel defense continued its solid first quarter play, stuffing Josh Quezada and forcing a punt. As the opening 15 minutes came to a close, UNLV had the ball and a 3-0 lead. Early second, Decker hits Taylor Barnhill over the middle, and the big man rumbling 56 yards all the way down to the Fresno 6-yard line. 2 plays later, the call came for Shaq Murray-Lawrence.
Shaquille Murray-Lawrence burrowing forward. He's in. It is a UNLV touchdown.
UNLV had a 10-0 lead, the first time they had led by more than 7 points all season. The momentum kept building, with the D forcing another 3 and out. Garrett Swanson hits a terrible 20-yard punt, and the Bulldogs were also called for a personal foul to give the Rebels great starting field position at the Fresno 26. On 3rd and 4 from the 5, Decker goes to the corner, and Kendall Keys makes a great grab for the touchdown. UNLV was up 17-0 with 11:56 left until halftime. The defense flexed its muscle the rest of the half, with Fresno threatening on the 15. The lateral pass that UNLV had scouted and played perfectly. Najee Johnson falls on the ball for the change of possession. After a 3 and out, Logan Yunker and the punt team pinned Fresno on the 1-yard line. First play of the drive, Brian Burrell tries to go downfield, but UNLV's Brandon Baker is there for the pick near midfield. All 3 phases contribute and play solid. The Rebels went into the locker room with a 17-0 halftime lead.
All right, the big difference so far in this first half was the offense sustained drives and moving the chains.
Yeah, moving the ball, good in 3rd down, running it, good balance, running it, throwing it. not turn it over, with the exception of the kind of miscommunication on the double post route. The defense really is the one that set it up, though. We were winning on the defensive side of the ball, particularly in third down and in the red zone. The guys executed the plan on both sides better than they have all year in terms of taking what we practiced and bringing it to the game field. It was our best effort in that regard, especially for a first half.
Fresno was only 1 of 7 in third down conversions in the first half, and that has been a big bugaboo with this defense.
Well, it has, and it's the critical down. They've actually kind of been good in recent weeks in third down offensively, and we got after them. It was 2 for 14 on the night for them, and probably the difference in the game.
Well, things got really interesting in the second half, but as we've seen all year, the Rebels did not quit, and they put themselves in the position to win.
Hey, win on me, win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Yeah!
Fresno State had the ball to start the second half and went 75 yards in 5 plays and a minute 22 seconds. Capped by Burrell to Chad Olson, who backs into the end zone as the Bulldogs cut the Rebel lead to 17-7. Neither team could move the chains much as the defenses took over for the next 10 minutes, forcing punts being exchanged back and forth. With just over 5 minutes left in the third, Fresno had the ball at their own 37 and started to move the ball methodically down the field. From the 27, Burrell finds Josh Harper, who breaks a tackle and gets into the end zone. The Bulldogs were down just 3 at 17-14, but the Rebels had a quick answer. After the kickoff went out of bounds, Decker went to work. The pass to Boyd for 20 yards to move into Fresno territory. Then Decker keeps it himself around the left end for 11 yards down to the 34. On the next play, QB1 hits Williams for 31 more down to the 3. Then Decker fakes the handoff and finds a seam, getting it across the goal line. UNLV makes a statement, going 65 yards in 4 plays in just 54 seconds, and the lead was back to 10 at 24-14 at the end of the third quarter. Then things got wild. Burrell rolls right and heaves it downfield. It goes right through a Rebel defender and right into the hands of Harper for 58 yards to the UNLV 9. 2 plays later, Burrell to Olson for the touchdown. UNLV's lead was back to just 3 at 24-21. On the Rebels' next possession, a non-call on pass interference that would have given UNLV a first down instead forced them to punt. Fresno was on the move again as Burrell and Harper continued to hook up, and the ball was at the 37. But senior leadership comes through. Kenneth Penny with the pick to stop the drive and end the threat. The Rebel offense, though, went 3 and out again, and Fresno went right back down the field. On 4th and an inch at the 13, Martese Waller goes for more and gets it. 13 yards for the score, but the point after is wide left. Important because the Bulldogs now only led by 3 at 27-24 with 7:21 left. Once again, Fresno's kickoff went out of bounds for good starting field position for the Rebels. UNLV had 4th and inches at their own 44, and Shaq pounds through for 2 and a first down. Then the swing pass to Shaq, and he uses his speed and size to bob and weave all the way down to the 25-yard line. That set up Nico Bornin from 47 yards out, and it just gets across the bar. The field goal tied things up at 27 with 3:37 left. The Rebel defense forced a 3 and out, and the offense got the ball back at its own 27 with 2.5 minutes to go. 3rd and 6, Decker to Boyd, 20 yards and into Fresno territory at the 49. 3rd and 9 from the 38. Decker steps to his right and hits Micah Mataele for 10 yards in the first down. 16 seconds to go. UNLV at the 29, and Decker lobs one up for Williams, who brings it in and goes out of bounds at the 10. 5 seconds left. Jonathan Leyva comes in for the 26-yard field goal to win it. Fresno calls a timeout to ice him, and it worked. The kick wide right, and we were headed to overtime. Fresno had the ball to start overtime. On 4th and 3 at the 18, they decide not to kick and go for it. The Rebels get pressure. Burrell has to throw off his back foot, and it's just out of the reach of Waller. UNLV holds. The Rebels had the ball at the 25 for their possession, and they would move it to the 16. But on 4th down, they decide they want to kick it, but this time they're going with Bornin.
The snap, the spot, the kick is in the air. The kick is good, and the Rebels have won the game in overtime. They beat Fresno State on homecoming.
Pandemonium on the field as the Rebels release a season of frustration. It's a big win, and it comes in overtime, 30-27.
That celebration seemed to have a little more sauce to it than just a normal win. There was some frustration built up.
You should have seen it was bedlam now in the locker room. It was awesome. But, yeah, there's a lot of frustration built up. And to me, the best thing in the entire last couple of weeks is the frustration built when we couldn't get a win and weren't playing very well. Is none of the frustration was projected at one another. You know, not players on players or coaches on coaches or across the aisle. Everybody was still in the boat together. They're just very, very frustrated. It came out, and it was good to see us win, and it was fun to watch our guys celebrate.
So Leyva misses the chip shot at the end of regulation. Take us through that 20-minute stretch right there from the time that he misses until you kick the game winner, the conversations you had, the decisions you made to go with Nico.
Yeah, it was interesting because we worked the exact situation as we're going to look at right here on Wednesday in our 2-minute drill. It was left hash. It was about this within a couple of yards, same distance, same timeout, freezing him. Same practice kick down the middle, but he drilled it on Wednesday. So then when, we had fought our way back into the thing and then had a chance to win at regulation, it's deflating. And so we gathered him up on the sideline and talked to him about, it's about the next play. We can't worry about missing that field goal. Let's go. We got to go win this thing in overtime, and it's what they did. And then to have Bornin kick it, I hadn't really decided that until we got to 2nd down in the overtime, and I called him down and said, hey, it's yours. I don't care where it is, and it worked out. So I'm glad we have 2 of them we can go to at any point in time.
Even with the struggles this season, this team has never quit, even when they were losing big in the 4th quarter of games. You've got some character guys on this squad.
We do, and I'm, philosophically, I think when the investment's great, it's hard to give in. And these guys have invested. They've worked hard at it. And they play hard. They like to play. They play hard. They're physical. And if we play well, we can win. If we don't play well, we can't win. We're not one of those teams, and there aren't a whole lot of those around the country. But we will play hard. We'll play physical. We'll play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And then when we play well, we've got a great chance to win.
We're just getting started here in the Reb Zone. Straight ahead, the players react after Friday night's big win and find out who freshman wide receiver Devonte Boyd says has been a big influence on him this year. Stick and stay. We're back in 2 minutes.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by Born and Raised, the official home of the Rebels on the Road, and by Cox Communications.
It's always a dream, and it's always been there, and I never thought I'd get the chance, and given that chance, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm glad we came out on top.
I think we're battle-tested, and we proved that we're never going to give up, we're never going to lie down, and it was fun. It's just fun to be a part of a win like that.
Through the first half of the season, we've seen the emergence of freshman wide receiver Devonte Boyd, who says that things now are starting to click into place.
Devonte Devonte Boyd is quickly becoming UNLV's go-to receiver. The freshman from Basic High School in Henderson says things are starting to click more with quarterback Blake Decker.
The comfort level is there. He's counting on us, and we count on him to make big plays.
After Devonte Davis went down with an injury, Boyd started getting more attention from defenses. He says that Davis is still impacting the young wide receivers from the sidelines.
Devonte is definitely like a coach, a dad, a big brother, everything you can have on the sideline for everybody. He's on everybody positive, and when he needs to get on you, he needs to get on you. Nobody takes it personal. It's just, it's all love.
The future is now for Boyd, and the future is bright in UNLV's streak of having solid receivers to throw to.
So how much of an impact has Devonte Davis had on these young receivers while he's been out with the injury?
Yeah, since he's been out, he's kind of taken on the assistant coach type role. He does a great job, and he's been with those guys. He knows their strengths and weaknesses, and so he's been able to give Cedric Cormier a hand in the room. He's at everything. He travels with us even though he hasn't played, and he's been really a positive influence and taking that captain's role seriously.
Well, next up, we're going to change gears a little bit in the Reb Zone. We're going to talk Running Rebels basketball, the team back practicing. But what are they saying about the new look and top talent that's working out in the Mendenhall Center? Find out on the backside of the break, right here in the Reb Zone.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by Born and Raised, the official home of the Rebels on the Road, and by Cox Communications.
Well, Running Rebel fans certainly remember Kevin Olakibe and the situation that he was in, transferring to UNLV for his senior year last year to help out with his ailing father who had suffered 2 strokes. We're sad to report that Benson Olakibe passed away, and now Kevin is hoping that Running Rebel fans can help out. Kevin's father from Nigeria, and his wish was to carry out his country's customs and be buried in his homeland. Transporting a body overseas, of course, costs a lot of money. Now, Kevin's family has started a GoFundMe account to try and raise money for the funeral and say that any little bit would help. We've put the link there at the bottom of your screen. You can also go to the GoFundMe website and type in Olakibe family. That's Olekaibe. The Running Rebels began official practices on Monday, and they had 30 practices before the season opener against Morehead State. Now, a lot of new faces this season, but it comes with a new attitude.
The Mendenhall Center is once again filled with the sweet sounds of basketball. It's a new beginning for the Running Rebels. There will be 5 new starters on the floor, and the bulk of them will still be in their teens. But with a top 5 recruiting class comes the oozing of confidence.
The sky's the limit for us if we, play as a team. We got a lot of pieces. Everybody has individual skill, but our goal right now is to get better every day and turn all that individual skill and build it together so we can be one skilled team.
We have guys for each position has an answer. So it's just about maximizing our potential. We have a lot of potential, but it's up to us to maximize it.
One position that has plagued UNLV for years is point guard. But enter Cody Doolin, a senior transfer from the University of San Francisco, who's known as a floor leader who likes to distribute the ball. Doolin is drooling about the young shooters around him.
These are very high-level freshmen. I mean, they're not your typical-looking freshmen, right. and if they just work hard and just put their head down and just stay on the right path, they are going to be just phenomenal basketball players.
It's no secret last year's team suffered chemistry issues, and head coach Dave Rice says so far this group has bonded.
It's a good group of kids. We've worked extremely hard to put this program together, to put this mix of players together. I'm very, very pleased with how it's gone. Again, it's something we can't just assume is going to continue to happen. We have to make sure that every single day we're working on playing hard, we're working on playing together. Those are things that can go awry if you allow it to.
The path won't be easy. The Mountain West schedule is hard enough, but this season, UNLV made a concerted effort to boost its RPI and strength of schedule with games at Kansas and Arizona State, games in Las Vegas against Arizona and Utah, and a potential matchup with Duke in Brooklyn next month.
We're always going to play a competitive schedule moving forward, and this is very challenging this year when you think about the teams in a non-conference. But it's something that our players are excited about, recruits get excited, certainly fans do, and it gets you ready for conference play. There's no downside to playing a very competitive schedule.
Your first chance to see the Runnin' Rebels is at the Scarlet and Gray Showcase. That's this Thursday at 7 at the Thomas & Mack, and it's free. We're going to take one last break, and then we're back to football and the Rebel Plays of the Week. But first, here's a look at how other Mountain West teams did over the weekend.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by Born and Raised, the official home of the Rebels on the Road, and by Cox Communications.
Big win and a week off now to get all these injured guys rested back up.
Yeah, the open date could have come a couple weeks ago and helped us a little bit, but we need to get some people healthy. We'll do that. Then we go on the road again to Utah State, but when we get back home at the end of the month, we need to fill that stadium up. It's been great football out there, a lot of fun, and hopefully this gets us on a roll.
All right, Coach, have a good week. You have a good week as well. Here's the Rebel Plays of the Week. Good night.
Your allegiance, please follow the leader. So Eric B. We are microphone fiend. It's the return of the God. Peace God. It ain't nobody fresher. I'm in Mason, Martin Martella on the table screaming. The other side they jealous. We got a banquet full of bras. They got a table full of fellas. Yeah, and they ain't spinning no cake. They should throw their hand in 'cause they ain't got no space. My whole team got dough, so my bank account is looking like millionaires, bro.
It's a dangerous love affair. Victories within the mile. Almost there, don't give up now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight. Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Fox 5's Reb Zone Sports Show was presented by Born and Raised, the official home of the Rebels on the Road, and by Cox Communications.